Now that we have the basic levels of the project set up, it's time to begin the conceptual massing. Let's switch to the level 1 floor plan, and then go over to the design bar and right-click. You'll open up the design bar menu. Select the massing tab, and this has all of the conceptual massing tools on it. So you start by adding a mass, and then you'll get this form dialog. And this shows the 4 basic types of forms that Revit can make. An extrusion is something that is drawn in plan and then pushed up to create a volume. A revolution is drawn in a side view and then turned around. A sweep has a path in plan and a profile in elevation that's swept along the path. And finally, a blend has 2 different profiles on the top and the bottom, and the volume is blended between the 2. So for most massing, we'll start with an extrusion. Just say OK. And then we're taken into a special mode called sketching, where we have the sketching tools up here, and we have just the sketching tab available over here on the design bar. We'll go ahead and draw in a closed loop with lines, and when we're done, we'll click Finish Sketch. If you want to cancel out at any time, you can just quit the sketch by clicking here. So I'll start by drawing lines, and you can choose whether you're going to draw them yourself or pick them from other lines on the screen. And I'll start by switching to Pick. And I'll go over here and click on this line on the outside of the building, and I've picked a line off of my CAD data. Let's zoom in closer down here in the bottom. And this time I'll draw my own line, and I'd like to choose Lines and Chain. Chain allows you to connect the lines together as you draw. So I'll come down here and click here and click here, and that drew a second line segment. And then I'd like to create another line that goes up here on an angle. And if you notice, the cursor seems to be snapping to a vertical position. You hit the Tab key multiple times to cycle through different options that are available near where your cursor is. So I'd like to tab until I see the box representing the endpoint, and then I'll click. I'll just pan over here and keep going. Hit Tab until you snap to the endpoint, and just work your way around the building. I have to hit Tab again, it looks like up here, and maybe over here too, so I'm sure that I'm snapping to the endpoints. I'll work my way around the building, tracing the outer lines of the first floor structure. I'm going to hit Escape to stop drawing lines, and then I'll zoom all to fit, and I'll zoom in up in this area. Now I'll draw a line from here over, like that, and hit Escape. I'll draw another line from here up, like that. To connect them, I'll use the Trim tool. This is kind of like Fillet 0 in AutoCAD. You just click on the 2 lines, and they get trimmed together into a corner. Let's zoom back out, and I'll keep using the Trim tool, and I'll connect these 2 lines together. To make a mass with an extrusion, you have to create a closed loop with your lines. So we need to keep working our way around. I'll go back to the Lines tool and continue where I left off. I'll overshoot and hit Escape, and then start again, like that so that the lines cross, and then I'll just trim them together like that. Go back to the Lines tool, draw in another line, hit Escape, and then trim it together with the previous line. Finally, create the last segment, and hopefully I have no gaps in my lines so that the extrusion will be able to be created. I'll say Finish Sketch. And I didn't get any error messages, so I did it right. Let's look at a 3D view. And you can see that there's a mass showing. In the 3D view, I don't want to see the CAD data. So let's go up to the View menu and go to Visibility Graphics. Switch to the Imported Categories, and I'll just turn off the entire imported drawing here so we don't see it in the 3D view. And we have our first mass.